So yeah, it was 2014. So the
Yep.
Medical University of South Carolina. So at the time, Emory, which is a hospital in Atlanta,
Right.
was the only infectious disease facility that was equipped to care for someone if they came to the United States with that diagnosis. And so MUSC being the level 1 trauma academic medical center, top of the top, they're like, we're getting our own. So they said, we have a responsibility to our community. We have a responsibility to our country. And
Mm.
so Nat, one of our directors of the critical care units, there were 7 adult critical care units in MUSC. She said the 2 medical ICU managers, I managed the medical surgical ICU and Janet managed the medical ICU. She's like, we're going to all work together and we're going to get this thing built. My portion in that was more along the lines of looking at staffing models and figuring out training. And I was the youngest in the group, so I learned a lot from that experience. But that was fascinating. So we had to build a unit, and by we, I mean like a collective group, build a unit, develop protocols, recruit people. The hospital took a stance like this is not going to be mandatory because people are going to be volunteering to lose their life in order to care for these people.
Yeah.
We had to make sure that as a medical team, we needed a pulmonologist because we knew that with Ebola, they're going to have to be intubated on the ventilator.
Right.
We needed a respiratory therapist. We needed at least 2 ICU nurses at all times so that if one has to step out, the other one can step in. So trips were made to Emory. That unit was investigated. Plans were drawn. Contractors were brought in. Then the area that was chosen was downstairs in a place that was easily accessible. The shifts were created, the education was done, and then the team was trained. So we had literally just finished training. Everyone had gotten their equipment, which they kept at home, so that if we deployed the Ebola team or the protocol, they stopped what they were doing, grabbed their stuff, and came in. And if they were an existing staff, then they would be considered I think they would be Team B. So
about how many people are we talking on this team?
I think there were 18.
Oh wow, okay.
Souls. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
18 out of hundreds of that were available.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that number might be inflated, maybe 14. I can't remember now, but long story short, everything got settled. And you got to think when you pull these people out of staffing, then you got to replace them.
Right.
Because I just said our into patient ratios are 1-to-1 to, in my unit, we had 2-to-1 because we had that.
And they're probably, by definition, they're probably among the best and the most fearless, right?
Right.
So they're not easily replaced on the units that they're currently working.
No, but
Yeah.
the support they had from their peers was incredible because their peers were kind of like, well, if you're going to do that, I'll be glad to pick up your shift.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're gonna hope so, right?
Yes. And so we got a phone call that someone was matching the criteria of our screening, and we had to enact the protocol. You want to talk about
Yeah, it was a hard stop
like
moment
your
there.
whole life just flashes in front of your eyes.
Do you remember where you were when that happened?